Kalimera. It's always nice to be in Athens, in Greece. I always look forward to the event, when there's an event in Athens, to be here. My name is Tuna Yemisci. I'm the regional director for Eastern Europe and Turkey. And managing Eastern Europe, I say it's quite a challenge. So I manage about 24 countries, 22 different languages, doing business with about 20 different currencies. So you can imagine the amount of countries I have to travel to do events, to show up for meetings. And I would say I probably heavily rely on data every day, probably more than the average person, because I have to wake up, look at the weather, where I'm traveling. I have to choose my hotel, probably from Google Maps, arrange my pickup with Uber into the event that I'm going to. So data has become a very crucial, mission-critical part of my daily work. So we know that on average, a regular person interacts currently about 300 times a day with data. And we know from the studies and surveys that by 2025, this interaction will go up to 5,000 in our daily life. So you can imagine the amount of challenges that we will see in our businesses, that our businesses must cope with this fast transformation. There's also an immense, huge opportunity for the businesses to go out and actually capture what is about to change in next 5 to 7 years. So one of the great examples I really like is, or something that impacts a lot, is probably Google Maps. So you look at Google Maps, there's a lot of advanced things in back, but it's actually a very simple idea. So they had the location services data from all of our cell phones. They had the third-party traffic maps, which was available in most countries. And that was the data piece. So they looked and they brought some analytics on top of what was already available. And that analytics was pretty much showing you heat map of where the traffic is, how crowded a direction is, and showing you a path to go from one place to another place. But what drove the adoption of Google Maps and what probably differentiated it from the competition was the insights it started giving you. So on the fly, it tells you which road to take. It tells you if there's an accident ahead of you. So we now see that this whole transformation from data to insights is the crucial part. So again, I don't know how it is in Greece. I'm from Istanbul. So about 5 to 8 years ago, before we started using Google Maps, I know there's also a lot of traffic in Athens. There's also a lot of traffic in Istanbul. And we used to open up radios to see where the traffic is or which way should I avoid during the morning when I go to work. And when you got lost somewhere, you would have to ask probably the local taxi driver where to find a certain address or stop someone to get some instructions. But now, obviously, Google Maps reimagined this process. We probably rely less on that, and they actually created some kind of a value. So we know that this business transformation unlocks a lot of opportunities. Reimagining a process that already exists is something that's a huge opportunity. Also, customer intelligence is another pillar that we can look into our customers in our business in a much deeper level and understand what they are in order to unlock value. Probably another pillar would be creating new business opportunities, looking at our data, looking at our customer set, doing analytics, getting insights from that data, and being able to see what we cannot see and actually invest. And probably another pillar is risk and reward. So for example, one of our top customers, Citibank, they analyze about 400 million text files in order to detect and catch fraudulent events within their business. So in this case, their investment in digital transformation becomes an insurance policy for them. So in Qlik, what is our supply chain of solution? So we have started out with the analytics piece historically. So we have been an analytics company for since the 1990s. And that's what we have really pioneered the industry with about 50,000 customers, some of the top finance, some of the top retail customers globally are our existing customers. But we have now expanded our reach. So we have done two recent acquisitions. One of them is Data Catalyst, which is helping us tap into the data portion by helping prepare data, also cataloging that data in order to make the full use of the data portion. And another acquisition partnership was Action-Tuna. So again, it's now probably one of the biggest trends going forward is moving data rapidly, fast and safely between major data sources from cloud to on-premise, from on-premise to another on-premise or another cloud solution, or maybe building a bridge, building a hybrid cloud in between on-premise and cloud. So now we have heavily also invested in the data portion. So we have had analytics portion, now we invested in the data portion, and just recently, if you have seen what Qlik stands, and today I am sure there will be a demo of this, is now we have brought in past 1 year the insight piece, which we believe is probably the most important aspect of driving adoption of business intelligence, because insights, bringing insights to the business users drives adoption heavily. So what are those adoptions? What are those insights? Obviously, conversational analytics is now a big portion of that going forward. Giving you the insights on the selections that you do with Qlik is probably going to be the biggest aspect. So now, I think this year, I really feel very confident that Qlik captures much broader space to help you achieve how you transform the business. So if we are to look at the evolution of business intelligence, I think this is a very typical slide that many of you probably have seen a lot, is obviously the first, when this business intelligence movement started, it was very centralized. So it was very advanced for business users. It was relying heavily on IT. Business users had to request reporting, had to request every reporting from the IT. And in recent years, about past 5 years, we've seen a shift towards the second generation, which is decentralized approach. So departments have decided to, because they believed IT is not fast enough up to their expectations, they have invested on their specific purpose BI solutions. So we have seen in large organizations a very decentralized BI movement. Now we are seeing what's in the frontier is the third generation. So companies that are going from first to second, and now we're in second, they realize that they have all of these solutions between departments, but it's quite difficult to integrate into these solutions and try to drive value within these different solutions. There are also different challenges with the data governance now. Therefore, the new shift is towards what we as Qlik called democratized evolution of democratized in business intelligence. So what does this mean? This is democratizing data or your resources in a way that the whole business is looking at one single truth. The whole business, it doesn't matter which department, they have the same easy access, just like every other department. I'm not talking about security here. I'm talking about in terms of being able to data literate enough so that each department, doesn't matter if it's sales or HR or operations or supply chain, they have the access into what they can create value. And this is very transparent within the organization. So we're seeing that shift that the companies now, they want to move all of their employees into creating value out of this data. And probably another pillar we are seeing is the augmented intelligence piece. So what is enabling this third generation BI is obviously we have some business users and departments. Their priority may not be business intelligence, or they may not really care enough to create charts, create reportings on their own, and that may be not quite important to them. Well, augmented intelligence is bringing that value to them now with insights and suggestions. That movement is, again, enabling the third wave. And probably the very last pillar is now we are seeing BI embedded everywhere. So it's not only in our PCs, it's not only in our workstations at work, it's now in our phones, it's now in our watches. We are now seeing that this business intelligence is now into IoT, into sensors, into devices. One of the great examples I have seen this year was, if you have followed the news, there was a bridge collapse in Italy, and unfortunately a lot of people have lost their lives. And there was a lot of speculation in the news that bridge was not maintained correctly by the government. They didn't actually do the maintenance on time. So we are taking part of a project where Qlik has, well, one of the partners of Qlik has put multiple sensors within some of the old bridges in Italy, and they have now the BI, they have now the Qlik core operating inside each sensor. And each sensor is giving certain thresholds, so the analytics are being done at the sensor level, and when they see a certain threshold, which is set, these sensors can interact with each other. When they see a certain threshold on certain part of a bridge, they alert the headquarters, saying, hey, look, within this bridge, this part of the bridge has actually showing a certain threshold. It's going on a dangerous level. So you can imagine now, we're now talking that now it's in a device level, in a sensor level. So analytics is going everywhere. It's not going to be on our laptops anymore. So this is going to drive adoption. This is going to drive that this decentralized, democratized approach, that it's going to be now everywhere. So why augmented intelligence is important? Well, we know from the researches that Gartner has been releasing every year that going forward, analytic queries will be generated mostly by natural language processing, by voice, or it will be generated automatically. Again, because we know that not everyone is also interested in digging in this space themselves, the analytics portion will come to the business users. So this natural language analytics, automatically generated analytics is now going to be going forward, is going to be a big piece in our lives. Anyone have a question? Coming from some augmented intelligence solution? It sounded like it. So yes, organizations will drive this adoption, and we will see that conversational analytics and natural language is going to be now going a big part of our lives. So I want to clarify, of course, one thing. When we say augmented intelligence, what is our vision and what we believe in? So we believe that not everything is going to be fully automated, obviously. At the end, machine intelligence looks at the data that we present, try to forecast based on what the data is, try to give us some forecasting, try to give us some guidance. But we know that there will be always some intuition, some human aspect that is not in the data. That is something that you know, your manager may know, your director may know, your CEO may know. So there is going to be one single fact, at least, that's not in your data. Therefore, your forecasting or your augmented intelligence needs that human touch, needs that human intuition to make the picture complete. So we believe that there is that sweet spot between the human intuition, the machine intelligence, and the data science. And this is where Qlik's value, we can actually capture a lot on Qlik's value, because we have been building, our system is built on what we call associative engine since the 1990s. So This associative engine is based on the fact that you can explore with no boundaries. So our actually patented approach simulates what a human brain can do. You can do limited amount of selections, you can deselect things, you can look at, you can go from selections horizontally and vertically. So unlike the query-based tools, which is all the tools in the market other than Qlik, where you go from up to down, top to down approach, we have taken the exact opposite approach, that you can freely do analytics. So now combining this human intuition, machine intelligence with a human brain-like BI solution, we believe now we are the best situated product in the market today when it comes to combining cognitive engines and the human intelligence and BI. So another investment we have done recently is we have brought in the cognitive engine into Qlik. So the idea of this cognitive engine is based on your selections. Again, you can do free selections within your whole data. You get insights based on your selections and deselections. So this is actually a very unique feature. Again, this is generating the value that you would get with Qlik, because the system is not giving you suggestions based on your whole data. It's giving you suggestions on what you select and what you deselect. So you can compare and contrast your selections with the help of the cognitive engine. And obviously, we're building the machine learning experience in this. So based on your selections, based on your usage of the system is also learning about what is important to you and what you're actually focusing on, so it can accurately give you help and augment, hopefully, your business approach. So again, this is it's going to be a quite unique approach with combining the Qlik's associative engine with the cognitive engine. Our advantage is going to be, it's going to be context aware, so it's going to be selection aware suggestions, which is going to be a very intelligent and smart way of operating with a business intelligence platform. So to conclude, again, we believe we are very situated as the market leader driving this third generation, being able to offer you insight advisor, visual insights, which you will most likely see during demo today, the associative experience, the associative exploration. We have already had the smart visualizations and analytics. And of course now, with the accelerated data preparation and moving data in a fast and rapid way, we believe we are actually one of the best currently in the market situated for this third wave of democratized business intelligence. Well, thank you for your time, and I look forward to meeting you during the breaks if you have any questions. Thank you. Efaristo.